What we're doing here is factoring out a greatest common factor, and remember that means you're looking for what's common to everything. So let's start with the first one, and I'm going to start with the numbers. So remember, basically you're looking for the biggest number that you can divide out of 2 and 16. And the biggest number here, these numbers are pretty small, is just going to be a 2. So that's your greatest common factor number. And then you also want to check, do they also have anything else in common? No, the x's are only with the 2x. So 2 is the only greatest common factor. And then in parentheses, you write what's left over. So from 2x, the only thing you're left is an x, minus 16 divided by 2 leaves you with an 8. So this is what you're going to be typing in here. And when you type it in without any spaces anywhere. Okay, this next one is a little bit trickier because you've got 3 terms, so you want to look for what's common in all 3 of them. And first thing you do is look at the numbers. You're looking for the biggest number that you can divide out of 6, 18, and 24. If you know what that is, that's fine. You can go ahead and write it down. If you want a process for doing it, the way to do it is you start with the smaller number and you list all the factors. So all the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. And you're looking for the greatest number they have in common. So go to the biggest factor, which is 6, and figure out, can you divide 18 by 6? Yes. Can you also divide 24 by 6? Yes. So this is your number that's the greatest common factor. So that's the number that's going to get pulled out. And then now we also need to check our x's and our y's. So notice all of these do have x's, and the most they have in common is the smallest exponent. So they all have 2 in common. So that's going to be x squared. And then also do the same thing with the y's. Notice they all have y's in common, but the most they have in common is the smallest number. So that's your y. Just 1. So that's what you're going to pull out. That is your greatest common factor. And then we're going to write in parentheses what's left. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. You don't have to write that 1. The x's, you had x to the 5th. You divided out an x squared, so you're left with x cubed. And then for the y's, you had y squared, but you factored 1 out, so you have 1y left. The next sign is a plus sign. Then you have 18. 18 divided by 6 is 3. For the x's, you had x cubed. You pulled out an x squared, so there was only 1 x left. For the y's, you had y to the 8th. You pulled 1 out, so there's a y to the 7th left. Next comes a minus symbol. You had a 24. 24 divided by 6 is 4. All the x's are pulled out because you pulled out an x squared, and all the y's are pulled out. So this is your factored form. Okay, you want to make sure you write this on here, and then we're going to type this in here. But when you type it in, remember for the exponent, you're going to go ahead and use that little caret symbol that looks like this. It's above the little asterisk. So let me show you how to type it in. Okay, so the way you're going to type it in is 6x, and you're going to do that little caret symbol, which is in above this little asterisk here. So 6x squared, and then y, and then parentheses. We've got x cubed y plus 3xy to the 7th, to the 7th, and then a minus 4, and then close your parentheses. Okay, so notice it is a little bit of work to type this in, so that's why it's very important you also write this here so you can make sure you're typing it in correctly.